Good afternoon. Villa Park is the setting for this Premier League clash. Chelsea travel slightly north to take on Steven Gerrard's Aston Villa. Chelsea have been in very, very good form. Hot form, some could say, which would help Jorginho out because he's a little bit nippy in the Midlands this afternoon. 4 wins in the last 5 visits to Villa Park for Chelsea, and Graham Potter on a very, very comfortable 4-game winning streak, hopefully looking to continue that this afternoon. Good afternoon and welcome to Matchday Live. I'm in the company of Leonie and Zach. How are we both? We both good?
Very well, thank you. Very well.
Yeah, very good, thank you.
Looking forward to this afternoon, Leonie?
Absolutely, always looking forward to Chelsea at the moment. We're doing very well this October so far, so may it continue.
Yeah, it's a great point. October's been a good month for Chelsea so far, mate. We've started well. Hopefully we continue that well under Graham Potter.
100%, 100%. Yeah, it's the beginning of certain things you're seeing on the pitch as well, some of his tactics. Yeah, you can't complain with how October's gone. Hopefully, yeah, it does continue into November.
It's been a fantastic week, obviously, for Chelsea so far. A brilliant performance in Milan for Chelsea. A comfortable win in the end of it. 1 or 2 tweets and social media reaction for this one. AC Milan were never on Chelsea's level. Solid performance from the guys, and Mount is getting back. He's been fantastic, hasn't he, Mason Mount? 2 assists in the last couple of weeks, in the last game for him. Only 45-minute game as well. AC Milan 0, Chelsea 2. What performance. We go again, Villa away. They keep coming thick and fast, don't they, for Chelsea at the moment? A classy and professional performance from Chelsea against 10-man AC Milan. And this last one as well, which is one that we all saw and we all thoroughly enjoyed. The referee in AC Milan versus Chelsea. It's probably why Mason got taken off at half-time, Leonie, because the referee was getting his Christmas cards out early. And maybe one of those where if the game wasn't as comfortable as it was and Milan being down to 10 men, Mason would have played on. But the fact that he put in a player of the match performance within 45 minutes shows how good he's been at the moment.
That's it. I mean, man of the match after 45 minutes, you'll absolutely take that. And he just keeps getting better and better. You know, he's assisting so many goals this season. He will score himself, maybe today. I'm really rooting for him today. But what a comfortable performance against AC Milan. You can't ask for more, can you? 2 clean sheets, 5 goals. Brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely right. He's been instrumental in the way that Chelsea are playing recently. In fact, let's have a little look at midweek, actually, the highlights from the Chelsea-Milan game. And in that game as well, the important part, I suppose, is the penalty itself. The fact that Fikayo Tomori gets sent off for the foul on Mason Mount, Jorginho tucks it away. But from that moment on, Zach, Chelsea were comfortable and I suppose never really tested again. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, look, AC Milan have very, very good players in the ranks. I mean, Rafael Leao and Giroud, we already know from his time at Chelsea, are very, very experienced. But I think it's very solid and very experienced game management by Chelsea. Once the penalty goes in, obviously, once the red card happens, it's very, very professional. And yeah, look, maybe it could have been 4-0, 5-0, whatever, but it didn't really matter. This goal here by Aubameyang is really, really nice. Really nice Chelsea play. Another, obviously, ball from Mason Mount. A fantastic finish that is from Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. And this is basically what we kind of brought him to do. Nearly screws the front flip. It's still very, very impressive. And look, going to the San Siro, not easy. To come home with a 2-0 away win from San Siro is really, really impressive.
I'm always going to feel uncomfortable with the front flip because you never know what the grass is like, and I really don't want him to get injured, but he lands them 99% of the time, doesn't he? This is how the Chelsea group in the Champions League looks at the moment. Obviously, looks a lot more comfortable than it did 7, 8, 10 days ago, Leonie. You know, before the AC Milan double-header, we were bottom of the group, and there's a lot of question marks about, you know, where Chelsea's European journey would go this season, whether it be in the Champions League or Europa League. Now, all of a sudden, we're in absolute command.
Yeah, and this is with a coach who has never managed in the Champions League before. So fair play to Graham Potter. I mean, we love that man anyway, but to get the results he is in a competition he's not used to, fair play. He's been
smashing it, hasn't he? And obviously, Mason Mount has been instrumental to Graham Potter's plans. Quite a lot of social media reaction, giving him the praise that he does deserve over the last couple of days. And it's been wonderful to see. This is a really good tweet, actually, from Amar. Mason Mount getting into good form, rotating squad, 3 clean sheets in a row, clinical finishing. Graham Potter ball is in full flow. Absolutely right. And this one as well from Jerry Hayes. Mason Mount in this form is incredible. San Siro, a place of great names, of legends. He's just made it his own. Amazing performance.
Wow, that's high praise.
It is high praise, isn't it? And again, you know, you look at those performances in the past, Zach, the one that sticks out for me is a Jack Wilshere performance. You know, when all of a sudden he was running games away at San Siro and Barcelona. you have those nights where you stand out and you become a world leader almost. And Mason Mount's put himself amongst that. Now, I know we're biased, but it's true.
Yeah, no, look, I mean, doing that at the San Siro, as you said, a legendary football club, the likes that have seen Ronaldinho, David Beckham, Pirlo, you name it, they've all been there, Thiago Silva. And so, yeah, to go there and it's not easy because you know the history there, the fans make it so much tougher to go and compete. And Mason's really, really doing well at the moment. Every single season he seems to improve and he just does the basics so well, and to get those 2 assists and to continue hopefully for the rest of the season, I'm just sure he's just waiting for that goal now.
Absolutely right. Let's continue this Mason Mount loving with Matt Davies-Adams, who's at Villa Park for us. Matt, good afternoon, mate. The floor is yours. We're just waxing lyrical about how good Mason's been.
Yeah, more than happy to join in on that. He's fantastic, isn't he? He's going to score as well at some point. I mean, goodness me. I quite fancy him today to do so, to be honest. He's come so close, hasn't he, in the last few games? But that versatility that he's got, you know, it's looking like from what we're hearing in the press box, he is going to be playing in the front three. I wonder if he might be alongside Kovacic in midfield today. But we're hearing that it's most likely to be Sterling at right wing back. So that would suggest that Mason's up front. But yeah, you're talking about a double Chelsea player of the year, somebody who is hugely appreciated within the club and amongst the fan base. And I've convinced myself now he's going to score today.
Just carrying on from that then, Matt, because you say that his role might be slightly different in the team today. And you said already, you know, Graham Potter's seen that versatility within Mason without having to need it or use it almost at the moment. But how good is it to have a player like Mason Mount to be able to put him in the team sheet and then almost worry about where he's going to play later on?
It's fantastic, isn't it? I mean, that's what Chelsea have got a lot of at the moment. And as we're finding out, that's what they're going to need because we don't know whether Kanté is going to come back. Reece James is going to be out for at least a couple of months, obviously for Havertz too. So you are going to be needing to move players around. And if you're doing that by putting square pegs in round holes, that's not great. But if you're doing it with people who can play in a number of positions, then that's absolutely fine. So we'll wait and see. You know, there's always a gasp in the press box when a Graham Potter team sheet drops because you just know that you're going to spend the next half an hour trying to work out who's playing where and then realise that you've got it totally wrong. So we'll see. But yeah, Mason can play anyway. We know that.
You're absolutely right about taking half an hour to go through it because I think even in the 5 or 6 minutes when we got the team and before we came on, we've all had different opinions about who could play where. We assume it will be the way that it's lined up on the screen just there with Ruben at right wing back. But like you said, quite easily you could see Mason in a front three. You could see it with a 4-2-2-2. You could see it with a 3-2. There's another player somewhere. My maths isn't great, but it really is. There's so many question marks about it. How difficult is that for an opposition manager then, Matt, if they're having these conversations in the preparation of a game?
Yeah, this is it. You know, it's difficult for us, which is great because it means it's difficult for Steven Gerrard. He's sprung a couple of surprises in his team selection, by the way, going with both Ings and Ollie Watkins up front. But yeah, I mean, for an opposition manager, it's going to be incredibly difficult to work out. And the thing is, Joe, even if you do work it out, you get the starting formation right, as we know with Graham Potter, it might change a couple of times during the game anyway. So, you know, just when you think that you've got the answers, they change the questions.
Just as well, we've got a fantastic commentator in yourself, Matt, because the rest of us haven't got a clue what's going on. So thankfully you're there to work it out for us and keep us updated. Thank you very much for that, mate. Enjoy the game. And yeah, we'll hear from you a little bit later on. Cheers, Matt.
Cheers, guys.
Let's have a little chat then about Reece James. This is obviously, you know, a difficult conversation to have, unfortunately, because the injury in midweek was worse than first feared. You know, he's obviously seen a specialist and believe he's going to be out for around 8 weeks. Bit of a roller coaster because we didn't think it was serious, and then it's obviously turned out to be a little bit more serious than it was. We have got, you know, capable replacements, and I think everyone within this sort of Chelsea family has seen how difficult it has been. And this is, you know, this is it. Every Chelsea fan's sort of feelings in tweets is out of 8 weeks, absolutely got to get well soon, Reece James. Get well soon, the best right back in the world he has. You know, and this is only really the last sort of 8 weeks that he's locked all these down and been fantastic. And it is a real shame because he's been at the absolute peak of his powers, Leo. Yeah. He's been fantastic this season, you know, and this is a player that we don't know how good he is because every time we think he's reached the ceiling, he goes to another level. So it is a real shame.
That's it. I mean, he's been pocketing players for fun this season. He's been absolutely incredible. And his threat in front of goal as well, assisting, crossing, and just being involved in that build-up play has been amazing so far. So it's absolutely gutting that he's out for 8 weeks. But he came back stronger last time, so he's got a very good mental attitude, he does. So I think that will play a massive part for him. He'll come back, he'll come back even stronger. And he never gives up, does he?
He doesn't. He really doesn't. That is the one blessing, is he's been back from injury before, and he's got back to the very best very, very quickly.
Exactly.
Let's welcome Elizabeth to the chat. Elizabeth, good afternoon. We're just having a little chat about Reece James. Obviously disappointing news that we're going to be without Reece for about 8 weeks, and a real shame that he's going to miss it. But also, you know, in the same way, like Leonie's pointed out there, he has come back from injuries before and got back to his very best a lot quicker than most, because, let's be brutally honest, Reece is almost one of a kind.
He is, and I was absolutely gutted because I thought that it was going to be a quicker turnaround time after the initial injury. So it's gutting to see that he's out for 8 weeks. But like you said, he has a crazy strong mentality. He tweeted that he is racing against the clock to try to make it in time for the World Cup. So I think if there's anybody that really is going to put in the work and come back stronger, like, this guy is incredible. He's so strong. It's going to be Reece James. So hopefully we can see him back in a Chelsea shirt really soon.
Oh, you're absolutely right. Yeah, hopefully we can. And these tweets here that kind of underline the importance of Reece James, certainly under Graham Potter as well, which is crazy to think. You know, Graham Potter's only been in the job 5 or 6 weeks, and already you've got a player that is so important. But he would be important to any team in the world. But we get to see his actual importance and how vital he is as an individual in this entire team. You know, we saw that at times last season how different Chelsea were without Reece James under Thomas Tuchel, of course. But after tonight, Reece James is the best player at Chelsea, in my opinion. I don't think there's anyone playing at his level so consistently. That's the big thing for me, Zach. Consistently. And you know, we make the joke about it, but if you want a goal, you look to Reece James. You want an assist, you look to Reece James. If you want to shut a game down, you look to Reece James.
Yeah, look, there's been 3 managers now that Reece James has worked under for Chelsea, and every single one, it all goes through him. You know, the creative side, the output side, whatever it might be, that he is such an important factor to it. And you saw last season when he was out, the creativity down that right flank did drop, because as much as, say, Azpilicueta is a fantastic defender and has been for years, he doesn't have the attacking output that Reece James has. Maybe we'll see with others like Ruben Loftus-Cheek, if he does play out there on that flank, we'll see him possibly do it. And obviously Trevor Chalobah, we've not really seen have the opportunity to drive forward in that position. But it's tough because Reece James isn't just anybody that you're replacing. You're replacing arguably one of the best fullbacks or attacking fullbacks in the world. It's not easy to do so. But yeah, I mean, this is part and parcel of football. You've got to have a deep squad and try and make your way around it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And not just that, I mean, this is only a tiny point, but as a fantasy football manager, I'm gutted because every week I was reliant on that. And thankfully, I'm not the only one that's been thinking about this as well, looking for a Reece James replacement.
It's not easy, man.
It's not easy. It's not easy. It's a difficult game at the best. Well, I mean, it's an easy game that I'm making look difficult. If you're in my league at the moment, you can see I'm absolutely struggling. And looking for a Reece James replacement is going to be difficult. One of those replacements, unfortunately, doesn't class the defender on the game, Leonie, but Ruben Loftus-Cheek potentially could be at right wing back. We think he might be playing there today. What an opportunity that would be for Ruben. We've seen how good he is at right wing back already this season.
Absolutely, and this season so far he's really impressed me. I think his mentality as well. He's a very strong player. He wants to do well. He's still at Chelsea. You know, he's been away out on loan. He's come back and he's wanting to prove a point. And now is the time. And it's unfortunate circumstances. Don't get me wrong, but he is the player now to be knocking on Graham Potter's door, saying, "Look, I'm here. Let's do this. Give me a chance."
Absolutely right. I mean, he's definitely got the opportunity this afternoon with the shirt in hand. Another player that obviously comes into that conversation, Elizabeth, is Cesar Azpilicueta. He's fantastic last weekend against Wolves at right wing back. We know how dependable and how brilliant Cesar is whenever called upon. So, you know, we're quite fortunate to have him as an option still.
Joe, I had to say, I love how you always ask me that Azpilicueta questions. Like, I really appreciate that. But, of course, I was super happy that he had that fantastic game versus Wolves, and we saw that he was creating a lot down that right-hand side. He was putting in some very beautiful balls, crosses, like even a little bit more in the inner side. It kind of reminded me of the balls he used to put into Morata and how they just had this amazing link-up. Maybe he can start to develop that with one of the attackers on the pitch as well, but he's such a reliable player, and you know with Azpilicueta that he's always going to put in 100% no matter the game. So yeah, very, very good option to have there as well.
You're absolutely right. There are so many players within this Chelsea squad at the moment. Everyone's got their own favourites. That's what I love as well. The fact that there's so many players you can go through, and everyone's a favourite because they play such an important, integral part to this Chelsea squad. And obviously, we're going to see them all in this brand new shirt. Not today, but we do have a brand new third shirt, which us three went to the mega store to have a little look at. Right, so yeah, we've come into the club shop. Obviously, the big thing at the moment is the launch of the brand new Chelsea third kit, which is absolutely stunning. I mean, the detailing in it is amazing. You know, we talk about a kit launch. Sometimes they're elaborate, sometimes they're involving some faces that we recognise. Isn't that right? Is that the home kit, of course, this year? But this one was kind of launched on FIFA as well, wasn't it, mate? It come out, it was the first time we ever saw it was on FIFA. You're a big FIFA player yourself. Did it catch you off guard? Did it catch you by surprise?
Yeah. No, I really liked it. I think it looks very good in the game and looks even better in real life, if I'm being honest. It's something which is a little bit different. We haven't seen this kind of thing in a while. I'm quite used to Chelsea's like away or third kits being very like luminescent, like the yellow ones, or we had like bright orange at times. We had red, but this is really nice. Just very pristine. It feels very professional. I like it a lot.
It's a lovely one, and Leone as well. I like the detail on it as well. If you just see the collar, which is really nice. It looks a little bit training kit almost, doesn't it? But then the detailing inside it is Chelsea FC London. Lovely little bit of class and elegance there, and then the edging as well to give the trim. It does make things stand out. It's almost a little bit reminiscent of like kits of the past as well, the black and orange, isn't it?
Absolutely, and you're almost like Gok Wan there, Joe. I'm really liking that analysis. But it is about the detail, isn't it? And I appreciate an eye for detail. So it's a beautiful kit, and like you say, it's reminiscent of past shirts as well. And it's like the more you look at it, the more you pick up as well. I mean, I can't stop looking at it at the moment. I'm definitely buying one.
Gold is it can be a little bit difficult to pull off as well, can't it? You know, the fact that Chelsea are Club World Champions at the moment helps, obviously. The fact we won the Champions League recent memory helps as well. When you look at away kits and third kits in the past, have you got any that stand out? And also, we want to talk printing in a second, so pre-warning, I'm going to ask you who your first Chelsea shirt printed was. So have a think about that. Whilst, any stand-up kits from the past for you, Leone?
I mean, I did like the bright yellow last season. I'm quite a bold person, so I quite enjoy the bright yellow. I think this colour in particular complements the redheads of the world, so I'm very, very impressed by that. But I think, the bright yellow for me last season, I really did like that one.
And just before you go, because I'm going to send you off to get a shirt printed for us in a second for the Matchday Live team, first Chelsea shirt you had printed, who did you have on it? Was it your own name? We're talking.
I had Lampard. Big player for me. Loved the man. You know, iconic legend at Chelsea. So my first one was Lampard.
Home or away kit?
It was home. It was the Fly Emirates back in the day, Umbro. Yeah, beautiful.
Lovely kit. All right, if I can give you that then. We've had a little discussion off camera about who we're going to get on the back of it. This is a difficult one as well because the board up there, we've argued about this 3 or 4 times, but we've got a good idea who we're going to get on it. So if you can go and get that printed for us. The printing's over there. We won't show you Leone going to do it because there's a very long queue and quite a lot of people wanting their shirts printed, rightly so. So what about you then, mate? Who did you have on the back of your shirt when you were growing up?
Well, you know what? When I was younger, I was obsessed with goalkeeping as well. Like, I loved being a defender, and I obviously kind of got into football and everything with John Terry. But I don't know, I always liked the idea of goalkeeper shirts. I thought because they were only one of that kind of shirt on the pitch, I found it unique. So I think one of my first ever shirts, I can't remember my first, but it's just so young. I was so young. But it was a long sleeve, and this is when the goalkeeper shirts used to have the padding on the arms. It was a check number. It was like the dark green, if you can think.
I do, yes. That'll have been like 03, 04, 04, 05.
Very, very early on. But yeah, no, that was one of my favourites. But in terms of like away numbers that I loved the bright yellow one from back in the day. Yeah. Back in the day, I don't know why, I just got memories of like Lampard and Drogba and Terry all in it. But yeah, no, I'm a big fan. And to be honest, one of my favourite things about this one, and actually to be fair with all the kits this year, is you can kind of just wear it out if you wanted to. Like you can style it in a way where you can. You know, there are other football shirts you watch and you see them go outside and you're like, does that quite work? But these boys, these can go really, really nicely outside.
Do you know, I really like that as well because it's a great point. Obviously, shirts now have to be stylish to wear, not just on a football pitch. That with jeans, dark pair of trousers or something, that's really quite smart, isn't it? It's really, really nice. And what we've done, Leone, I think you've got the shirt for us. Okay, so we've got the shirt printed, right? Again, have to make sure you got the correct badges on the side, the Premier League and no room for racism. You can get all of this online as well, by the way, at chelseamegastore.co.uk. You can have every printing done, shipping all around the world as well. It's really, really cool. And it only takes 10, 15 minutes usually. We've pulled a few strings to get it done immediately. I'm not going to lie, but, you know, it's allowed. It's fine. So what we've got on the back, we've had a discussion. There's obviously a few names at the moment. Leading the way from what we can see in the queue, Reece James, Mason Mount. I've seen a couple of Fofanas, a Ben Chilwell that I've seen, a Raheem Sterling that's just gone through just now. So many names you could get on the back. We've decided to go with club captain Cesar Azpilicueta. Give it a turn. And It looks beautiful on that, doesn't it? The dark lettering as well, matching the kit and the way it stands and the little details. Beautiful. The reason we've done this is because we've got a very big Cesar Azpilicueta fan amongst us in Elizabeth. Elizabeth does a lot for us on Zoom, so what we're going to do is, Elizabeth, we're going to send this one to you. So this is for you. Let's head back to the studio now. There you go. There it is in all its glory. And turn it round for us. Yeah, Elizabeth, and we're going to go one better as well, because we've had a chat with Cesar, and he's going to sign it for us before we send it over to you. So we really appreciate you. Thank you very much for doing what you're doing for us. And yeah, that's all you.
Oh my God, I can't speak, guys. Thank you so much.
It's our absolute pleasure. Our absolute pleasure. It is a lovely shirt. It really is a nice shirt. So yeah, we'll get that sent over to you. We'll get it signed and we'll get it sent over to you as soon as possible.
Thank you. Oh my God.
Absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure. Right, let's move on to the trivia then. Let's move on to the trivia this afternoon. This is where we need you, though, Elizabeth. So again, we're going to lean on you quite a lot for trivia. So let's have a little look at the question this afternoon. Okay, our first ever Premier League away winners at Villa Park in September 1992. Name one of our 3 scorers that night.
That's the year I was born.
September 92. Now this is annoying because this is around Jason Cundy territory.
Yeah, maybe.
But I'm fairly certain
hadn't made his.
He hasn't scored at Villa Park.
Okay.
I'm fairly certain.
I think he would have said earlier as well. We know what Jason's like.
Yeah.
He might have slipped
Loves a
that
pat on
in.
the back, doesn't he?
Any ideas, Elizabeth?
Oh, guys, I'm still like recovering over here from that amazing surprise. I'm like trying to wipe my makeup away. It's all like destroyed now. I'm blanking. I don't know. I was born in '94. Like this was before my time a bit. Like, what are you guys thinking? Maybe if you start spewing some names, it'll come to me.
I'm being told. I mean, it wasn't Jason. I'm being told. I think we're confirming that. Again, I feel this is the first time as well, and I'm going to dig him out. This is the first time where I thought I might text him. And find out, because Jason should know this one.
Yeah, it'll be a few of his mates. I think we'll think through the game.
Yeah, we'll have a think through the game. We'll try and come together.
It's one of the 3, or all 3.
One of the 3.
One of the
first.
Okay.
The first.
The first. Okay.
The first.
Okay, interesting.
Okay. Well, yeah. We'll have a think about it.
But Jason's on our team, right? So he can surely join in with that. No, I don't know what the rules are.
I do trust him, I think. Time to hand over to our very own Jason Cundy and Ben Andrews for the warm-up.
Good afternoon all, wherever we go. Trivago is with us, and now they bring us to Villa Park to follow the warm-up of the Blues in this match against Aston Villa. And you can see during the warm-up, get well soon Emma is on the back of all the warm-up shirts, and that is a sentiment, of course, echoed by all of us for sure. Not often we get stumped by the Triv question, by the way, but what I will say is that Jason Cundy only scored 2 goals for Chelsea. One of them was at Aston Villa, but we're thinking it wasn't 92.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Benjamin. Yes, I did score my first Chelsea goal at Villa Park, but it was pre-1992. That was back, 90 or 91. That was when I scored the first Chelsea goal. So I can confirm it's not me. I do have my suspicions about who it might be, but that's down to the team in the studio.
Right, think on, folks. Let's get straight on to our 3 points for 3 points then, and Raheem Sterling there will play a big part in this, hopefully feeding. Aubameyang is our first subject. Get him in the box. I don't think he's going to need too much, necessary encouragement to do that. Play to his strengths, Jason. 3 goals in 3 games.
Yes.
Poacher, yes, please.
Absolutely, yes. He always appears, whenever he moves to a new club, at Arsenal, Barcelona, now Chelsea, always seems to hit the ground running. The boy knows where the back of the net is, and play to his strengths. You know, we've seen all different types of goals that he scored. Lovely, smart finish midweek, taking it off the toe of Raheem. But look, play to his strength, get the ball in the box. How many times have you and I done the commentary, Ben, where we put the ball's gone across the face of goal? There's a cross has come over, no one's on the end of it. This boy does know where the back of it is, and you can see there, in and around the box, where he scored his goals.
I like the 6-yard box one the most because there's never been enough Chelsea players in that 6-yard box in the last couple of years.
How many times have we see a ball? Aspi put a brilliant ball across not long ago, and you're thinking, get on the end of it. He was just on his heel slightly there, but yes, he's had a big impact, the boy.
And following the Milan game, the new striker was the subject of discussion for the new manager. Here's Graham Potter talking midweek about Mr. Aubameyang.
Yeah, really pleased for him as well. He's been building his minutes and getting stronger and stronger, and understanding has been growing between us and him. And I think the key is for him to be enjoying his football and being an important player, and he is for us, and delighted for him.
Yeah, straight in and doing the job. Aubameyang, 3 goals in 3 games, including both of those Milan matches. And another stat I noticed about him is he scored 8 times against Tottenham. I really like that one. Our second point now, about this game specifically, Jason, really take the game to Villa. When we were on the gantry for the Wolves match back at the Bridge the other day, you felt like, OK, they're low on confidence, they've lost their manager, they're not scoring goals. But if we're a bit passive, maybe they can play their way in and just go, OK, we've got hold of this. But if you hit someone when they're a bit low, and Villa are basically the same, they're way down the table, lower than they should be, just get at them straight away.
Look, the natives aren't happy at the moment, Ben. You know, talk sport when they phone up after the game on Monday. This is on paper, this is a very good squad of players, underperforming. This for me is a minimum top half team, minimum. And the players they've got on them, it's a really strong bench. So yes, absolutely, get the crowd quiet. You know, they love their football up in the Midlands, and all of those clubs down there at the minute are struggling. You know, Wolves are down there, even West Brom with them. So they're left Leicester. They're all really struggling, and this is a good time to go to Villa Park. I saw the midweek against Forest. They're missing something, Ben. They're not quite at it. There's something in their game missing, and they're not creating enough chances. Coutinho was on the bench today, very quiet. Buendia, very quiet. It looks like they're going to go with Ings on the left, Watkins down the middle, and Bailey possibly on the right. And you look at that, you think, that's got goals. That's what that tells me, goals. They're not creating enough at the moment, so you're absolutely right. Take the game to them. Can you get your nose in front? Can you frustrate the crowd? Get the crowd on the players' back. And let me tell you, if things don't go well here for Steven Gerrard in the coming weeks, I've got a couple of tough games coming up, he could find himself under big pressure.
No doubt about that. They do have tons of good players, including their midfield, which brings us to our third point, which is matching their energy in midfield. They're not scoring many, that is an absolute fact you've touched on there, and we will do more later. They're not conceding that many either, and they do in there. I mean, John McGinn is a good player. Douglas Luiz is a really good player. Jacob Ramsey, an England under-21 international who's come through their system, he's a really good player. They've got bags in there in the middle of the park. So Kovacic, who we've been looking at there, and we presume Ruben, they've got to match that, and that's a big battleground today. Yeah,
well, again, it might be Ruben, it might be Mace, yet we don't quite know. He's got options, Potter, but their midfield has got a little bit of everything. Douglas Luiz is a very clever, intelligent footballer. He's the more defensive-minded of the three. McGinn, comfortable on the ball, loves to pass the ball forward, likes to scamper forward. He will try and get enjoyed, as will Ramsey. Ramsey bags of pace, quick, strong boy in the middle of the park. So they've got a little bit of everything. Mentioned about matching the energy in there. Mason could start in there, but if he doesn't, it's Ruben. The physicality of Ruben and Cover in there as well is another big plus. But I want to see plenty of the ball, retain the ball, frustrate them. You know, get on the ball, keep it. Sometimes, Ben, I think in games, you know, we're saying about taking the game to them, yes, but keep having touches on the ball, settle into this game. If you can control the tempo of the game, and then as the game progresses, you would have thought the players we've got will have too much.
Good to see another start even for Trevor Chalobah back there, as we have a look at Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. This is game 6, Jason, for Graham Potter. 4 wins and a draw. You could even say at the beginning a little bit of fortune in there. You know, Palace might not have been, but the performances now are more emphatic. The results are more emphatic. Are we justified by this point now, game 6, in saying, I want to see, and we are seeing, what Potter's vision for Chelsea looks like? Or do you think it's still a way away?
I think somewhere in between that, Ben. I noticed against Wolves, actually, how how close and narrow the players were with one another. And if you watch the way that Brighton have played, they love to play little 1-2s in and around, so plenty of support and then go wide. And I'm starting to see that. I'm starting to really be encouraged by the different style of play that we have adopted since Potter's come in. It's difficult to get it over in a very short space of time, but you're dealing with very good players here, technically incredibly gifted, experienced players, all through the squad, up and down the pitch. And I think that these players will love what Potter is trying to impose on here. I love the style of play. Mason's probably the best example. I'm watching the best version of Mason this season so far. Under Potter, he's really come on, really blossomed again into the player that he was maybe 18 months ago, a year ago, that type of thing that got him in and around the England squad. It's been a frustrating season for him. Yes, 2 assists midweek, no goals as yet, but he's the one that I've looked at and gone, you really are now starting to flourish and shine under Potter.
Well, he's in there and starting again, Mason Mount, an ever-present this season. He started 11 out the 12 games before today, so make that 12 out of 13 now. And we are going to hear from the gaffer now, who has got his 4 wins and 1 draw. What an excellent start for Graham Potter. Here is his pre-match interview.
You said the best one till last stage.
Well, the games coming thick and fast are a challenge, but we see them as a positive challenge. It's exciting to play the matches. You know, we can't complain. We've been to the San Siro. We've had some good results. It means the group's really engaged in the process of trying to prepare for the matches. So whilst it's a challenge, we see it as a really exciting and positive one. Yeah, the mood of the squad's good. As you can imagine, results help that, but it's also the way the players have been working. They've been really responsible, really honest. They've worked hard. They're together. So it's a really nice group to work with. I think rotation's been important for us because it's almost impossible to play the same guys every match. It's important for the group, I think, to feel that they're close to playing, that they're pushing, that they're providing good competition. Yeah, delighted in that respect that you can make the changes and you can still get positive results. I think Kepa's been fantastic. Obviously, Eddie's been injured at the start, but now he's back, so he provides really good competition and support. The way he's supporting the team has been, first class. But Kepa's done well in the games, kept clean sheets. So he's been an important player for us, and we're happy that he's enjoying his football. We have a lot of leaders. I think it's important that you understand them. You understand that they bring a leadership quality, a lot of experience in the dressing room, and there's also some young players as well that are trying to soak up the advice and try to learn from everybody. So it's the group's in a nice place, I think. Yeah, Aston Villa were a team that I followed as a young boy. They were going through the European run at the time, and I think they won the European Cup. And I've got a picture of my brother sat in the European Cup in the Shirley British Legion. So that's one of my first impressions or memories of football. And then from there, I started to play for Birmingham City. So my allegiances were a little torn, but it's a club I know well, a city I know well. So yeah, looking forward to the game. I think the challenge of Aston Villa is going to be a big one. At Villa Park, they're always dangerous. You look at their results, are probably a little bit disappointed with the points tally, but the margins in the Premier League are so fine that a result can change the dynamic of their season very quickly, and they'll be looking to do that against us, I'm pretty sure. We need to try to impose ourselves on the game, be ourselves, play well, but at the same time respect the opponent because, like I said, Aston Villa at Villa Park are a dangerous team.
Thank you very much.
Perfect.
Love that. Graham Potter speaking ahead of obviously today's trip to Villa Park. Just continuing the build-up then. Elizabeth, obviously the team itself now, we've got to grips with the shape and everything like that. Is there a player you're thinking is maybe our key man this afternoon?
I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I feel like it has to be Mason Mount. I think that he's just thriving under this new system. He got an assist versus AC Milan, 2 assists, I think, versus Wolves. So he's just absolutely killing it. And I think it speaks a lot to him that he only played 45 minutes versus AC Milan and he still got man of the match because he was just at the heart of every single thing that Chelsea was creating. So I'm going to be looking at him. I think he's going to have a fantastic game today.
I think it's a really good shout. Yeah, it's a safe option, isn't it, as well, Mason? He's always the one that you kind of look to at the moment. Kepa's another one. We're going to speak more about Kepa's performance over the last couple of weeks on Wednesday evening's Matchday Live ahead of Brentford. Here's how the Premier League results have gone so far this weekend. Brentford going into that game on good form as well. 2-0 winners against Brighton. Leicester and Crystal Palace, well, less said about Arnold better, actually. I watched the highlights last night. Not a great game. Fulham 2-2 with Bournemouth. Wolves 1-0 winners against Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest missing a penalty there as well. That could have been an important point for them. 2-0 winners in the late kick-off last night. Spurs against Everton. And today, quite stacked, but obviously finishes with Liverpool, Manchester City. We play Man United in a week. Leone, a week yesterday. You know, Newcastle's probably going to be quite a good test for them because they've been very good at times.
Very good.
And they've been very ungood. Poor at times. Been very poor at times.
Yeah.
So today's probably a good yardstick to see how good they really are.
No, you're right. You're right. Interesting choice of vocabulary, but we'll go with it.
I've got a journalism degree now.
We know exactly what you're trying to say, Joe, and that's absolutely fine. No, you're right. It'll be a really interesting game, Newcastle United, and you know, with us playing United next week, let's hope that they go into it with a nice loss.
And Arsenal as well, we've got them a few weeks away.
Yeah.
Leeds will be a good test for them as well because, you know, Leeds are one of those teams where they can be brilliant on it, like we saw, you know, they press very high, they've got a lot of intensity.
For sure.
And against a team like Arsenal, probably go into it now with almost a free hit because now you're in that bracket of Arsenal expecting to get results.
Yeah, look, I think it's no doubt that Arsenal are performing really, really well. Look where they are on the league table, and we're at enough games now where it shows that you are doing well where you are. It'll be an interesting game for them. I think Chelsea now will have a few games like United, like Arsenal, City in the Cup as well in a few weeks too, where we'll really get to see what this Chelsea side is like. Obviously, it's going to be a shame there's going to be no Reece James by the looks of it, but that's where the depth comes in, the strength in numbers. Chelsea have a lot of high quality players, and I think we'll see them in those coming games.
It's important, isn't it, Elizabeth, as well, because, you know, the big game this afternoon is Liverpool versus Manchester City, and it's kind of important for a different reason as well. Liverpool need a result to almost still be relevant for things this season, whereas Man City, you feel, if they beat Liverpool today, they could start to pull away. So from a Chelsea perspective, kind of hoping Liverpool get something.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be quite difficult for Liverpool, to be honest, because with the addition of Erling Haaland, Man City are just cruising. They're scoring so many goals. I saw a ridiculous stat that they scored 3 consecutive home Premier League games, I believe, with 4+ goals. So it's not going to be easy for Liverpool. They've been having a really difficult start to the season. But in terms of Chelsea's perspective, Liverpool are more of a direct rival in terms of top 4 and Champions League spots. So, it's going to, well, really, they're in 10th right now, I think, so maybe not so much, but maybe if they get something, they'll take some points off of City.
Yeah, hopefully so. And Leonie, you're going into today's game against Aston Villa. Again, it's an important game for Chelsea to continue the run they've been on. And also the way that Villa have been recently, you do go into it thinking that we should be beaten.
Look at that shirt.
That's a lovely shirt
brilliant.
from a Villa fan, and probably what they need at the moment because they're not scoring enough goals.
I was going to say they need that plus goals because it's not happening at the moment, is it? And we can't stop scoring goals and getting clean sheets. So, I mean, we're definitely favourites going into this, and I just think we'll respect the opposition, of course, as we always would, and Potter's spoken about that this week. But I just think, you know, we have the edge at the moment and they're struggling. You know, like we say, they struggle to score at the moment. So let's take full advantage of that.
Absolutely right. And Zach, I suppose the message from Graham Potter will be exactly the same as it was in the Milan game, exactly the same as it was against Wolves as well, which is start fast. You know, you start fast, you get an early goal, and all of a sudden the complete complexity of the game changes.
100%. I mean, look at what we've seen over the past couple of years. We struggle when teams sit back, and one of the things you don't want to give a team is confidence in doing that. If they can play for half an hour and Chelsea are struggling to get a goal, even break through, then they know, God, this is working. Like, we've got to make sure and make them commit to it. The second you get a goal, well, then they have to attack. Then more space opens up, and that's why you see City go and score 4, 5, 6, however many goals they fancy scoring on whatever day. But from a Chelsea point of view, and the way Graham Potter, like we've started to see him break down these low blocks, which is really, really good. And I wouldn't be too surprised if we see that kind of happen today.
It's also a little bit of a free hit, I suppose, Elizabeth, for Aston Villa, because you know, fans aren't expecting a huge amount at the moment, but there is also pressure on the manager, so there is that expectation. So it's a bit of a strange sort of situation for Steven Gerrard to be in at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. They're going to be looking at that game knowing that it's at home and hoping that they can get something from this Chelsea side. But I think Chelsea are just looking so dominant at the moment, keeping so many clean sheets in a row. 3, I think, we're up to, and scoring a lot of goals as well. So I think that Aston Villa has like a really tough task at hand, and I do think Chelsea are going to get the win despite playing away from home.
Is that the secret, Leonie? If you keep a clean sheet today, you know, I mean, they don't score many goals, but if you do shut them out, you fancy Chelsea to go on and get a goal at some point.
Definitely. I think a nice early goal for Chelsea. I think that, you know, the Villa fans are going to be up for it today. We get a nice early goal, then we'll just go on to win, I think.
Sounds so simple, doesn't it? It really does sound so simple. Elizabeth, thank you so much for being involved. Thank you very much. Enjoy the game, and we will see you again very soon. We'll be back at half-time for you, but right now, time to hand over to the brilliant Ben Andrews and Jason Cundy as Chelsea take on Aston Villa in the Premier League, live from Villa Park.
Good afternoon, everybody. Here's hoping for 3 more points. 1 month in, there is a lot to like about Chelsea under Graham Potter, that's for sure. Performances and results have quickly improved. Early